Hello there, this is James and you're watching Tixee Live, and a very good morning to all of you. In today's little morning program, I want to discuss a few comments made by a certain Mr. Powell yesterday to Congress, and a couple of other things which is happening in the market, the impact in particular on commodities. But before we get to that, don't forget these little programs or these little videos are for educational purposes only, and in no way whatsoever should ever be taken as financial advice. I always suggest you do your own research, do your own due diligence, and of course, know the risks at hand before entering any trade. With that out of the way, let's get started. I've called him this quite a few times. It's my nickname for him because a certain Mr. Powell takes inflation really, really personally. When he comes across, he takes it like really personally, like it's stolen his lunch money or something. So I call him this. My nickname for him is the inflation Terminator. And yesterday, obviously, he did his second part of his testimony to Congress. And these are a couple of things, what he said. First of all, he said, basically, his fight against inflation is unconditional. Unconditional means there's no going back. He is determined to fight inflation. And when he was asked about this, could his fight against inflation possibly or potentially cause a economic slowdown in the United States, he then said, it's certainly a possibility. Certainly a possibility. But there is no going back. He's dedicated. He's dedicated to bring inflation down to his target. And he said this several times, what his target was. It's almost like it was a broken record. He said the target, 2%, 2%, 2%, 2%, 2%. He kept saying and underlining that the Fed's target for inflation is 2%. And he's dedicated to get it back down to 2%. So the market has definitely, taken this, that they are going to raise interest rates again, quite dramatically. And there is general fear that this is going to bring us into a global recession. In fact, another member of the Fed, Michelle Bowman, has also said, has come out and said she supports another 75 basic point rate hike in July. Don't forget the last time they rose interest rates, 75 basic points. And that surprised the market initially because they thought they were expecting 50, but they were very aggressive. They went to 75, and she's supporting another 75 basic point rate hike in July, followed by further 50 basic points thereafter. So the market has taken this generally as, okay, they're determined to get inflation down. We are going to expect more aggressive rate hikes, which does put us on the edge of a recession. But honestly, it was funny watching him yesterday. He kept saying 2%, 2%, 2%, literally like a broken record. But anyway, what's the impact on the market been from this? Well, in general, the metals have come under a lot of pressure, In fact, you remember I was talking about the red metal yesterday, copper. I'm West Country, and I can't say that word properly. It says copper. I was talking about copper yesterday. Now, copper is down by more than 7% this week. 7% this week. And it's always a very important metal to watch because it's an industrial metal. If it starts falling down starts coming under pressure, it indicates that demand is waning. That means industry and manufacturing is beginning to wane. So this is why it's a really important metal to watch. And the fact this week's decline in copper, the red metal, I just say red metal, is the sharpest weekly fall since March 2020. And that was the height of the lockdowns. So it's the sharpest fall since then. Let's have a quick look at it, actually, to see where we are with it at the moment. As you can see, I mean, this is on an hourly chart. There is a big, really slow decline in oil, and it's currently trading at $8,269. And if we then look at it says way under the 100-day moving average, the 50 and the 200. And if we look at it on a 4-hour chart, the RSI is under 30, indicating that potentially it might be oversold. But I think with the general feeling at the moment of the market that we are heading towards a recession, this is why the commodities are struggling. I'm not really paying attention to the RSI as of yet. We might get a little bit of a buy-in, but at the moment, copper, the red metal, is under pressure. But it's not the only metal under pressure either. I mean, gold, everybody knows, who is unlucky to know me, I love gold. It is trading again just below that level we've been watching for ages, that key area of interest of $1,828. So it's trading just slightly under that. It's trying to get back above it, but because of obviously the pressure on the metals at the moment, because of these recession fears, it is struggling to stay above it at the moment. But it is still hovering around that level, $1,828. If we look at silver as well, silver, it's a similar story. Silver is under pressure as well, currently trading at $20.97. And the RSI is in between the 30 and 70. So not indicating either way that it's overbought or oversold. So yeah, the metals in general are under pressure. But it's not just the metals either. It's not just the metals. I mean, copper is the biggest one which is suffering. But oil, again, is under pressure as well. WTI is just above the $104 a barrel level. So that's under pressure again. And Brent is now at $107 a barrel. Again, remain pressure. In fact, oil is due for back-to-back weekly loss. So it closed lower last week, and it's due to close lower again this week. So yeah, commodities under pressure a lot, mainly down to the fact that the inflation Terminator had his say at Congress. So what else is new? What else has happened? Remember, we were talking about the yen. It's a 24-year low against the dollar. It's had a slight reprieve, because this morning, Bank of Japan's deputy governor, Masayoshi, I'm not going to try and say his second name because I'm terrible at names. But anyway, the deputy governor, he said, against the background, we must closely watch the impact financial and currency market moves could have on Japan's economy and price. Okay, that's not action, but that is, again, sort of maybe potentially forward guidance that maybe the BOJ might actually do something to help the yen. He did also at the same time when he said this, he also said that they were still committed to the current monetary policy. So it was a bit of this, but at least he's bringing it up and making a headline that they are closely watching the matter with the yen. And the impact with the yen, we have a quick look at it, is that we have seen a bit of a fight back with the yen. It's currently trading at 134.69, so under the 136 level that the dollar managed to get to earlier this week. But like I say, again, I still favor. I think I'm mixed with this. Yes, I think we've seen a bit of yen strength for two reasons. Yes, okay, that statement, but I also think the safe haven status of the yen, because don't forget the yen, the Swiss franc, and the dollar are three of the most popular safe havens, has been reactivated slightly. So I think the yen's doing a bit of that, but overall, I still see really dollar strength against the yen until the BOJ really steps in really steps in, does some proper intervention. But at the moment, yeah, it's 134. So yen slight recovery for the yen against the dollar on that. With that, so that's another story which has happened today. So what else is due for this week? Due for today, even. We've got a couple of speeches. Okay, a couple of speeches, especially from the Bank of England. And we'll look at the sterling in a minute as well. We had the Bank of England's Phil, even. He speaks at 12:30 UTC. Remember, he's quite dovish. So he's quite dovish. It'll be interesting to see what he says. He was a little bit hawkish in the last speech he made, which gave the cable a bit of a boost. But it'd be interesting to see what he says. And then again, we have Haskell speaking at 1:45 p.m. UTC. Haskell is a hawk. He voted for 50 basis points hike last week. So it'd be interesting to see what he has to say. Let's have a quick look at the sterling, the cable at the moment. It's still trading pretty sideways, to be honest. Currently trading at 122.53. Okay, it's above that key level we've been watching and keeping an eye off, 121.97, which is proving to be certainly a very interesting area of interest and reasonable support. Still trading around that. It'd be interesting to see how the cable does today as well, because don't forget, when I have mentioned in the past that the sterling tends to be quite politically driven. So there was obviously some politics with obviously there was a by-election in the UK yesterday, and the sitting government, the Conservative Party, lost both two seats, one to Liberal Democrats, one to Labour. So this again, of course, puts question into how long can Bojo or Boris Johnson remain as Prime Minister. So there's a little bit of political uncertainty as well. That could start weighing down on the sterling as well. So keep a close eye on that. So yeah, at the moment, still quite sideways, trading at 122.50, still above that key level of 121.97. While we're at it, let's have a quick look at the euro as well. Okay, the euro again still fairly sideways, trading at 105.23, under that level which we put in place a couple of days ago, 105.78. So that remains again a key area of interest. So yeah, so that's how it stands at the moment. Other things we've got happening today, we've got the US new home sales due at 2 p.m. Don't forget, the US has quite a big home ownership. They're actually about 65.5% of US citizens own their own homes. So this would be quite interesting to see how this statistics is. As I mentioned the other day when I was talking about the CPI, I talked about the potential Canadian housing crisis. It'd be interesting to keep the eye on the US as well, because don't forget, the last time the US had a big decline in housing, or had a housing crisis, they slipped into the financial crisis of 2008. So I'm not saying this is a major thing to watch, but it might be an interesting story to keep an eye on as it develops. So yeah, we have that at 2 p.m. today. The European market, how it's opened at the moment, fairly tepid, but slightly positive. FTSE up 0.85%, DAX currently up 0.18%, and Euro Stoxx 50 currently trading at 0.73% higher. Don't forget, you can ask me questions anytime you like. This is what I'm here for. I get so thirsty talking. So yeah, is there any questions? Any questions anybody would like to ask me at all? Please feel free. Don't be shy. Give it a try, as they say, or just simply say hello if you want to. It is Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. Okay. If there is no questions, and maybe you think of a question later, you can always add it onto the comments below, either on YouTube or Facebook. I will see them, and I will reply to that question next time I'm live on air. So never forget that option either. If there is no questions, so that's not a problem. If there's no questions, don't forget, I'll be back online again today at 1 p.m. UTC. We'll discuss what's happening in Europe, and we'll close the week out with my usual weekly roundup of all the events we've had this week. And again, it's been another hectic but exciting week. But anyway, as I always say, if you're watching me on Facebook and you like it, by all means, give us a follow. If you're watching us on YouTube and you've enjoyed this episode, by all means, subscribe if you like. Click the notification so next time you know when I'm going live. If you found this video interesting and useful, and you've put up with me, Give me one of those, because I do like to know that you're liking it. I see I've got some likes already, which I really appreciate. But anyway, till next time, or till later this afternoon, remember, these little videos are for educational purposes only, and in no way whatsoever should ever be taken as financial advice. I always suggest you do your own research and do your own due diligence. And of course, know the risks at hand before entering any trade. Till next time, every single one of you, trade safe.